started. Shalom, giving all praise and glory to the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. As always, we'll start with Colossians 3:17, and I stand wholeheartedly on this. Hopefully you will too. Whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. That's in the name of the anointed Savior. Give me thanks to the Most High and the Father by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. In the name of the anointed Savior. That's how you give thanks to the Most High, by Him, because He said, "No man come to the Father but by Him." And I challenge you to say that He said that with the New Testament being written. He only had the law and the prophets as He walked the earth. So a lot of y'all don't believe in Him, but He only had the law and the prophets to go by. Just like we have the law and the prophets to go by. And we have the New Testament that's dealing with them reading and understanding the law and the prophets to be able to bring forth understanding, more understanding of what it is that we might not have gotten in the law and the prophets in reading it. You understand? Or I challenge you to create your own New Testament from the law and the prophets. Since y'all say it ain't inspired by the Most High, you start writing the New Testament from making it precept from the law and the prophets. That's all he had to go by. That's when Satan came to get him and tipped him when he worked fasting for 40 days and 40 nights. What did he use? He went to the book of Revelations. Did he go to Paul's writings? Peter's writing? James' writing? What did he use? He used the law of the Most High, that the Most High wrote with His finger. The work of the Most High. That's why all of y'all talk about we ain't under the law. Most High got something for you, and it's called hellfire. He said, "I'm gonna melt you." Understand this? When He come back to judge, what you think He gonna judge you on? You follow the power of this world that's here to deceive the whole world and put everybody in evil and wickedness and iniquity? Oh, we gonna find out. That's why I'm here to warn you. And look what they did to us. Go to Psalms, the 34th chapter. In the 19th verse, that's why this is a prelude for the persecution of we as the children of Israel. Psalm 34 and 19. It should give you hope. It say, many, not few, but many are the afflictions of the righteous. You hear that? Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Most High deliver him out of them all. Hear that? But He said, many are the afflictions of the righteous. So how are you righteous? How are you righteous? By not keeping the Most High's laws, statute, commandments, or keeping the Most High's laws, statute, commandments to the best of your ability. Because you're taught you're not under the law. So how are you righteous? I'm asking you that go to church, you that go in these different religions. I'm asking you a question. How are you righteous in the eyes of the Most High? You keeping His moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws? What's the next holy convocation? What's the next date that we got to come together or be together in honoring Him for the law that He set down? I bet you know the next date for the so-called white man's world, or whatever world you in scattered over across the world. You would know whatever date that is of this world, but you don't know what the Most High said. These are my holy convocations. That's why I went over how when the Greeks came into power, their whole objective was to make people one. That's the New World Order. And to take us as the Israelites from following our laws that the Most High gave us. Everybody else, I mean, you don't care nothing about them. All the gods of the nations are idols. Psalm 96 and 5 says. So He's telling us many are the affliction of the righteous, because who He loveth He chastens too. But the Most High delivereth him out of them all. So how you righteous? Deuteronomy 6:25. And it shall be our righteousness, we as the Israelites, if, was the condition, we observe to do all these commandments before the Most High, our power, Israelites, as He hath commanded us. So yeah, we righteous, but it said many are the afflictions of the righteous. But the Most High deliver him out of them all. He gonna deliver us out of all the afflictions that we can deal with. Whatever it is. Don't matter what it is. He said, I'm gonna deliver you out of them all. If you believe in Him, you have faith in Him, and you can tell the Most High just what you said, Most High. You said you're going to deliver me out of all problems. All you out there that got problems, Most High said, hey, he gonna deliver you out of them. He never give you more you can bear. It's just some people, they lose faith in the Most High. Therefore, they feel like he's not working with them when he is working with you. Proverbs 24:16. Proverbs 24:16 says, for a just man falleth 7 times and rises up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. You see, but a just man, a righteous man, many are the afflictions of the righteous. That's a just man. The one that's keeping the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, right? He might fall a complete number of times, but he's going to rise up again. You see? And keep rising up. Believe it in the Most High, having faith in the Most High. But the wicked going to fall into mischief, because notice when something happens, you know, they into the wicked. Or you've been seduced by the wicked and you allow them to lead you in the wrong way. Let's go back to Psalms 34, verse 7. The angel of the Most High encampeth round about them that fear him. Hear that? That's why it's very important to don't believe what these theologians, so-called theologians, are telling you, and not to fear the Most High, thinking that he's all love. The angel of the Most High encampeth around about them that fear him and delivereth them. You hear that? Delivereth them. You got to be delivered, y'all. That's being saved from your enemies and from the hand of all that hate you. You got angels that's surrounding us to deliver us. But you got to fear the Most High. Be afraid, be scared, respect him ultimately to be delivered. Oh, fear, verse 9, oh, fear the Most High, ye his saints. The saints are the 12 tribes of Israel. But there is no want to them that fear him. See, that's a lot of people's problem. They don't really fear the Most High. A lot of you depend on yourself. You leading on your own understanding. You dependent on yourself. Because once you pray, you're supposed to say, this is what's going to happen. I would say the name of the Lord. So you're supposed to be saying this is what's going to happen, because you believe in the Most High. You have faith in the Most High. Even if somebody say you crazy. Sound crazy, but that's what it says. You stand praying, believe that you receive them, and you shall receive them. Psalms 132:1. Say, Most High, remember David and all his afflictions. You see? Ain't that many that you read about in this Bible that didn't go through some kind of affliction. That's what we say. Many are the afflictions of who? The righteous. But the Most High delivered you up out of all of them. He never give you more you can bear. Go to Acts the 7th chapter. You just got to believe in him and fear him. Acts the 7th chapter. And verse 8. We're going to read down from verse 8. And he gave him the covenant of circumcision. And so Abraham begot Isaac. Going all the way back to our forefather Abraham. Abraham begot Isaac. And circumcised him the 8th day. And Isaac begot Jacob. That's who the Most High say he is, the power of. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So if you're not part of Jacob, Jacob became the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. Then the Most High that you read about in this Bible, who y'all call God, which is dog spelled backwards, he's not your power. And Jacob begot the 12 patriarchs, which represent the 12 tribes of Israel. Those 12 tribes of Israel came out of those 12 patriarchs. And the patriarchs, who are the 12 sons of Jacob, moved with envy, sold Joseph into Egypt. Persecution. affliction, sold their little brother Joseph into Egypt. Because they sold him to the Arabs, and the Arabs sold him to the Egyptians. But the Most High was with him, you see, and delivered him out of all his afflictions, and gave him favor and wisdom in the sight of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And he made him governor over Egypt and all his house. That's why you understand Joseph was right under the Pharaoh of Egypt. And when he died, Joseph took over. A lot of people don't realize this. We ruled Egypt, Israelites, shepherd kings, about 350 years, about 4 dynasties. And about the last 80 years, that's when we was in captivity under them. And he made him governor over Egypt and all his house, his family. Now there came a dearth over all the land of Egypt and Canaan, and great affliction. And our fathers found no substance. It was a famine, food shortage, right? But when Jacob heard that there was corn in Egypt, he sent out our fathers first. The patriarchs, the 12 patriarchs, right? But Joseph, they got rid of Joseph. Jealous, man. But when Jacob heard that there was corn in Egypt, he sent out our fathers first. And at the second time, Joseph was made known to his brethren, because they didn't know who he was. They thought he was an Egyptian. And Egyptians are a dark race of people, right? They're not the Egyptians that you see now. Look at some ancient pictures. I got ancient pictures to show you if you want to see them. That's why if he was there, they thought he was an Egyptian. It's like Moses. They thought Moses was an Egyptian, being raised amongst the Egyptians. So he couldn't have been a so-called white man. But that's what they show you in the movies and the magazines, and all the things that they show our people is themselves as being us. And we believe it. Majority of us believe it. And at the second time, verse 13, Joseph was made known to his brethren. He made himself, he let them know, I'm the one that you sold. I'm your brother that you sold to the Arabs, Ishmaelites. And they sold me to the Egyptians. And Joseph's kindred was made known unto Pharaoh. He told Pharaoh, this is my people. Then sent Joseph and called his father Jacob to him and all his kindred. They lied to his father, to our forefather Jacob, said wild beasts had killed him. Jacob had made him a beautiful coat of many colors. And Joseph had dreams, and they hated him because of the dreams that he had. But what he dreamed about happened, that we're reading about right here. Where in the New Testament, that's all they had to go by was the law and the prophets. That's why I keep telling y'all, there was no New Testament when they walked the earth. Anyone that you're reading about in the New Testament, wasn't no New Testament for them to look at, to go by, like we have now. This reading for us. And the Most High have his hand in this. And you still got those wicked ones that publish it, that put their little spirit spin in it too, and tamper with it. They have you calling on B-A-A-L, calling him L-O-R-D. They put that in there. At the end of your prayer saying A-M-E-N. Still calling on Egyptian idol. But y'all won't, I keep saying, I can say as much as I want to, and as much you can hear it, and you still gonna do the same thing. And at the second time, Joseph was made known to his brethren, and Joseph's kindred was made known unto Pharaoh. Then sent Joseph and called his father Jacob to him, and all his kindred, 75 souls. Score is 20, that's 75 people. So Jacob went down into Egypt and died, he and our fathers, all our forefathers, and were carried over into Shechem and laid in the sepulchre that Abraham brought for the sum of money of the sons of Emor, the father of Shechem. But when the time of the promise drew nigh or near, which the Most High has sworn to Abraham, the people grew and multiplied in Egypt. But we were ruling Egypt. till another king arose, which knew not Joseph, right? Ramses the second. And he started to take us down and put us into slavery. The same dealt subtly with our kindred. See? Subtile, sneaky, and evil entreated our fathers, so that they cast out their young children to the end they might not live. When you start killing the young children, 2 years old and down, same thing Herod did. In which time Moses was born and was exceeding fair and nourished up in his father's house 3 months. Can you imagine the cry that was going out for all the young boys that was put to death? Those 2 times I just mentioned. Here in Egypt, in the time that Herod was killing all the babies 2 years old and under, trying to get a Mashiach Yahushua. That's what I say. People got a price to pay. When you think about it, they the ones, the so-called white man, the one that put him to death, crucified him. In which time Moses was born and was exceeding fair and nourished up in his father's house 3 months. So he lived 3 months in his father's house, Moses. And when he was cast out, Pharaoh's daughter took him up and nourished him for her own son. Give you our history. This is our story right here. Because he was killing the babies. So they put him in the water, and Pharaoh's daughter took him up and nourished him for her own son. And Moses was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians, because he was a baby. He still was going with his mother for nourishment and so forth, and he was learning, pertaining to an Israelite, but he was also known in all the wisdom of the Egyptians. It was mighty in words and in deeds. And when he was full 40 years old, it came into his heart to visit his brethren, the children of Israel. 40 years old, he knew he was an Israelite, because he had been with his mother and them. They nursed him and so forth. He was 3 months old, and she told her maid, go get his mother. So she nursed him. So you think, we gonna nurse him and they gonna tell him that, hey man, this is who you are. Not what they show in the movies, but let's sell it. And seeing one of them suffered wrong, them treating an Israelite, his brother, wrong, he defended him and avenged him that was oppressed, and smote the Egyptian, killed the Egyptian. For he supposed his brother, persecution, y'all, afflictions. For he supposed his brother would have understood how that the Most High by his hand would deliver them, but they understood not. Like our brothers now. People run around here buck wild, thinking that this world that we in now gonna last forever. Every nation had a certain dispensation of time to rule. And we know we got next, forever and ever and ever. When the Most High bring the judgment upon this earth to set righteousness up on this earth. Point blank. So he figured that, hey, his brother would understand. He see the man, we being oppressed. And he put the Egyptian to death, buried him in the sand, it says. And here goes his brother. Look what they said. The next day he showed himself unto them as they strove, and would have set them at one again, saying, sirs, ye are brethren. Why do you wrong one to another? Why are you doing each other wrong? But he that did his neighbor wrong, thrust him away. Get away from me. Saying, who made thee a ruler and a judge over us? Wicked Israelites. We've been oppressed. Would you call this a sambo? So who made you ruler? And say, wilt thou kill me? You gonna kill me as thou didst the Egyptian yesterday? They seen him do it. They're gonna be, oh, you gonna kill us like you killed the Egyptian? You see the difference? We the chosen people of the Most High. The Most High's not dealing with no one but us. They know this. Moses know this. He went to his brothers. Next day they said, oh, you gonna kill us like you killed the Egyptian? So what do you have to do? Then fled Moses at this saying, and was a stranger in the land of Midian, where he begot 2 sons. And when 40 years were expired, a 40-year period, there appeared to him in the wilderness of Mount Sinai, an angel of the Most High in a flame of fire in a bush that you read about in Exodus, the 3rd chapter, verse 1. When Moses saw it, he wondered at the sight, and as he drew near to behold it, the voice of the Most High came unto him through the angel of the Most High, saying, I am the Most High power of thy fathers, the power of Abraham, and the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob. Y'all got to hear this, because a lot of people try to say that his name is something, whatever it is that they want to say, but you can't go wrong with this. The Most High, he said, I am the power of thy fathers. Who is that? The power of Abraham, and of the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob. Then Moses trembled and durst not behold. So that's who he is. He said, look, Exodus 3:15-16. Let me show you. That's why you hear me saying the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Jacob's name was changed to Israel, who became the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. So if you're not part of the 12 tribes of Israel, Most High's not your power. And I'm saying power in place of dog, which is God spelled backwards. So they took dog and spelled it backwards, the Europeans, and came up with God. Like they came up with B-A-A-L, they used L-O-R-D in place of B-A-A-L worship. That's why, Jezebel was dealing with, that was what they were dealing with. And Israelites, wicked Israelites were dealing with that kind of worship. Let's give it the Most High a middle finger. Listen what he said. And the Most High said, moreover unto Moses, this is Exodus 3:15, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel. Now this is the angel speaking to Moses. Angel always speak to us with the voice of the Most High. Voice of the Most High, from the voice of the Most High come words. So the angels are bringing the words of the Most High from the Most High's voice. They always say, listen to my voice, and from the voice come the words, and the word is the angel of the Most High, which here represented Mashiach Yahushua as an angel. It says, and the Most High said, moreover unto Moses, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, the power. Listen, don't this sound similar? The Most High power of your fathers, the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob. Isn't that what we just read? Have sent me unto you. This is my name forever. So you can't go wrong with using the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob. And Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. Like we just said, the 12 patriarchs, right? Same thing. What's different? And this is my memorial unto all generations, right? So when he left, he said, listen, he said, go and gather the elders of Israel together and say unto them, the Most High power of your fathers, the power of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob. He said, that's his name forever, the memorial to all generations. He just told us this. Appeared unto me and saying, I have surely visited you and seen that which is done to you in Egypt. See? And I have said, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt. Like he's going to bring us out of the affliction of this Egypt, this captivity that we're in right now, scattered among all these nations, unto the land of Canaan, of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hittites, and the Jebusites, unto a land flowing with milk and honey. And they shall hearken to thy voice, and thou shalt come, thou and the elders of Israel, unto the king of Egypt, and ye shall say unto him, the Most High power of the Hebrews. Now, this is power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, have met with us, and now let us go. We beseech thee, 3 days' journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to the Most High our power. See, but the Most High hardened Pharaoh's mind so that he wouldn't let him go. Now, going back to Acts 7:32, saying, I am the power of thy fathers, the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob. Right? See, that's his name forever, more to all generations. So Mashiach Yahushua, how did he identify him? See, these are the things that are mysteries to a lot of people that really thinking that this Bible is and the Most High is talking to everyone. He's everybody's power. He's not. You won't see this in the Bible. You won't find that nowhere. Look what how Mashiach identified her, if we can. He always look at Matthew the 22nd chapter and we'll look at verse 31 and 32. It says, this is Mashiach Shai speaking, who the world calls Jesus Christ, whereas I'm gonna say his Hebrew name because he spoke Hebrew. Mashiach Yahushua. Hebrews 22 and 31. But as touching the resurrection of the dead, have ye not read that which was spoken unto you by the Most High, saying, I am the Most High power of Abraham and the power of Isaac. So much I'm trying to let you know his name. And the power of Jacob. Isn't that what he said his name is forever? Memorial to all generations. We just read that. This is how you identify him. I am the power of Abraham and the power of Isaac and the power of Jacob. Most High is not the power of the dead, but of the living. So once somebody dies, he's not the power of that dead person. He's the power of us that's living. He's dealing with us that's living. Because once you die, it's a judgment. You got to deal with whatever you got to deal with after death. I did a lesson on that. Heaven, hell, and the judgment. You can read whatever it is and go into what it is that happened after death. You know what I mean? So, and it's all here in the scriptures. It's all here in history, in our story. You know? So you see, he's the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob. You can't go wrong with that. Acts 3:13. Another one. And Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. If you get used to saying that, I mean, it kind of like cuts out a lot of confusion. I don't have much confusion. Cuts out a lot of confusion. Say the Most High so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. You say for God, right? He just tell you who he is. Let's see who he says again. Acts 3:13. It says God, right? The God of Abraham, right? I'll say the power of Abraham and of Isaac and of Jacob. The power of our fathers. See? That's his name forever, the memorial to all generations. So you not of the 12 patriarchs, you don't come from the 12 tribes of Israel, then you're not dealing with this Bible's power. Y'all say God, you know, like I say, that's Europeans use that word, and we call them that. Dog. They use dog and reverse it and say, hey, God. And that's what y'all saying out of y'all mouth. Even though, you know, they created the word. That's why I'm saying the power of Abraham. And the power of Isaac. And the power of Jacob. But you remember, Abraham had Ishmael before he had Isaac. But the Most High is not the power of Ishmael, the Arabs. He the power of Isaac. He chose Isaac. Then Isaac had Esau and Jacob. Esau was the oldest. They were twins, but he came out first, right? But the Most High chose Jacob. He didn't choose Esau. So he's specific. You can't get around it. I know that. So that's established, the hope. Going back to one more time, Acts 7 and 32, saying, I am the power of thy fathers, the power of Abraham, and the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob. Then Moses trembled and durst not behold. You see, so it's going to tell you all the things that you can read about, you know, going through our story. See, here. But we're going to stop. You can read on for yourself if you want to find out more about what happened with us. Let's go to Galatians, the 6th chapter, and the 3rd verse. So I got a lot to cover, so I want to, like I said, you can read that on your own. Just put a note there and continue to read, and you'll read a lot about, you know, it's a lineage of what happened with us as a people. And through our patriarchs, our brothers. Galatians 6 and 3. For if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. That's why the Most High wants you to be humble. He want a broken and contrite spirit. But when a man think himself to be something, because we don't memorize a few precepts or whatever, or you done been set up to be elevated in this world and think you all that. When a man think to himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiving himself. So you all that. What's your judgment when you die? Before the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushua, where you going? Where you gonna be at? What's your number of the 144,000? What's your number of the 1/3 of the 12 tribes of Israel? If thou could say. Because if you building yourself up to be something when you're nothing, you're something. I mean, I'm not sure I got to come back and teach us 1,000 years to know of the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. 1,000 years, and now you somebody because you didn't learn how to read a little bit. We just learned how to read a few years ago. It was against the law for us to even read in captivity, slavery, and bondage. Now all of a sudden you somebody, I don't know. You better understand. Most I say his name is jealous. Go to let's look at St. John. I believe it's the 12th chapter, the 32nd verse. This is what I know, and hope you'll know too after this. This is what Jacob Shai said. He said, and if I be lifted up from the earth, will do what? Will draw all men unto me. Not unto you, or me, or anybody else, any other man. He said, if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me, right? That's why spiritually, you got to see this, because go to Acts 1:9. Once he died, rose on the third day, walked the earth for 40 days. This is what happened. Acts 1:9. And you that don't believe it, you don't believe Elijah was lifted up in a chariot, right? But listen to what it says. And when he had spoken up these things, while they beheld, he was taken up. And a cloud received him out of their sight. The chariot received him out of their sight. Right? So he was lifted up. He said, gonna draw all men unto himself. So when you look at 1 Corinthians 3:23, these are mysteries that, when you ain't no man could be, that's why I say a man, when he think he's something, when he's nothing in the eyes of the Most High, or prove that you're something. Let's go before the throne of the Most High and tell the Most High, you are this and you are that on this earth. I'm talking about all you high-minded, proudful Israelite leaders or theologian leaders or pork chop eating preachers or whoever you are. I just read, he said, if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me, not unto you. The Most High do the calling. He the one that called us into this. And he allowed Mashiach to do the choosing. Because we done gave the Most High a middle finger over and over again until this day. Thinking we all that. We ain't nothing, man. But a bunch of degenerates, bunch of, like he called us, a filthy rag, a menstrual cloth, a woman on her cycle. Any woman on their cycle, just the nastiest thing you can think of that comes out of you, whatever, that time. That's what he called us. That don't apply to you though, right? It apply to every last one of us. Or you ain't righteous in the eyes of the Most High. This is who we are, 1 Corinthians 3:23. He said, and ye are Mashiachim. Ye are the anointed. I don't know about you. And Mashiach is the Most High's. That's how we reach him. Now, a lot of you look at the New Testament and y'all look at John, like John 14:6, where you say, Mashiach said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. But if you don't think in your mind that there is no New Testament, when he's speaking, in the flesh. It's just what we're talking about. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. He's in the flesh. We just read where he ascended in Acts. The first chapter, only 9 verses. He ascended to the right hand side of the Most High. He out of here, as far as being fleshly on the earth, any way, shape, or form, right? So, when he was on the earth, all he had was the Old Testament to go by. What did Paul have to go by? The Old Testament. When you look at the New Testament, all he had to go by was the law and the prophets. That's it. So he's saying, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man come up to the Father but by me. He's saying that to you. What part of that you don't understand? That's why David said, prime example, and some of you heard this song. Hopefully, a lot of times I repeat things, but it don't hit home. With people that's been hearing it, still don't get it. Then one time, oh, I see it now. After many times hearing it and saying, I heard that before, but you don't understand it. Why he said, listen what he said. The Most High, because they put L-O-R-D, that's Baal. Look it up. Maybe I need to show it to you. So you'll see that. They put that in there. The first letter in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary of B. See what it says? You see Baal? Can you see it? Make sure I get it right. Yeah, it's right there. You see what's next to the word Baal? What does it say? L-O-R-D, right? L-O-R-D. So, just so you know. And, well, I'm not saying it because he said, Exodus 23 and 13, he said, and in all things that I have said unto you, Exodus 23 and 13, be circumspect. He wants us to be circumspect. And he said, and in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. You see? So, we got to be circumspect. We got to be focused on what we need to do. Please the Most High. He said, don't let these names of these other gods come out of your mouth, man. That's why you hear me saying, Salak your Most High, whenever I do say them, because we're not supposed to be saying the names of these different gods. And they put them in there, like you see, I showed you what B-A-A-L, that's what we were worshiping while we were in the captivity after captivity after captivity. And that's what Jezebel was dealing with. That was her prophets. That was what she had set up. Killing the prophets and set up these B-A-A-L prophets. And that's what we follow in wickedness. Majority of our people, 2/3 of our people are going to follow that. 1/3 is not. That's why, look what David said. Psalms 110 and 1. He said, I'm just going to say the Most High for that L-O-R-D, which is Baal. B-A-A-L. So like the Most High. The Most High said unto my power, since I told you that we are Mashiachim, we belong to Mashiach. Mashiach is the Most High, and ain't no New Testament when he's saying these things. No man comes to the Father but by him, right? This is what, who is this? Who is these two L-O-R-Ds? The Most High said unto my power, sit thou at my right hand. So the Most High sitting on his own right hand. Sit thou on my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool. Now who is that? That's what King David's saying. Because a lot of you don't believe in the Mashiach Yahushua, but who is that? That's the Most High sitting on his own right hand? It's very important to understand this because it's going to come a time when you got to give account of what it is that you see here. And hopefully you be ready to meet what it is that look at Matthew 22. Let's start at verse Verse 41. It say, while the Pharisees, who were like the political leaders, dealing with the Romans, why I say political leaders, while the Pharisees were gathered together, Mashiach would say, asked them. He asked the Pharisees a question, saying, what think ye of Mashiach, who was himself? He said, what do you think of me? Whose son is he? Right? They said to him, the son of David. Right? He said unto them, how then does David in spirit call him master, saying, the Most High said unto my power, sit thou on my right hand till I make thine enemies thy footstool. That's what we just read in Psalms 110 and 1. If David didn't call him master, but you see they put that word there, which I just showed you means what? B-A-A-L. How is he his son? See, if David called him Mashiach, master, say, how is he his son? And no man was able to answer him a word, right? Neither does any man from that day forth ask him any more questions. He shut him up. But he letting you know, hey, because that's a mystery. But it's real. Because we just read it. Now, who are those two powers, if thou can say? And who is this? That's y'all that, you know, those that know. Those that don't know. That's two Lords, right? So who is that? Who is that? Who are those two Lords? Who is this? I want you that don't believe it, Mashiach, to answer this question. Who are those two Lords in Psalms 110 and 1? And who is this? Psalms 45 and 6. Psalm 45 and 6. Thy throne, which is power and authority, O God, if you just want to deal with that word, is forever and ever. Scepter, which is rulership, power and rulership of thy kingdom is a right scepter. See, thou loveth righteousness, which is keeping of the Most High's laws. We read that in Deuteronomy 6 and 25. And hated wickedness, those that break the Most High's laws. Therefore, God, thy God. So the Most High got a power over him? Therefore, Most High, your power? There's somebody over the Most High? That's two gods right there. That's two powers right there. It say, therefore, God, that's your God. Ain't nobody over the Most High. Who are those two powers right there? If thou can say. Therefore, Mashiach Yahushai, who's called the power here, your power, have anointed thee with the oil of gladness above thy fellows, above the angels. You see? So it's the same thing, like I say, when you look at understanding how you can understand through the precepts, the same thing is in Hebrews, the 1st chapter, and verse 8. It says, but unto the Son he said, thy throne. I was letting you know who it's talking about. The Son of the Most High, Mashiach Yahushua. But unto the Son he said, thy throne. Same thing we read. Psalms 45 and 6 and 7. Thy throne, O Most High. Is that Most High or Mashiach Yahushua? Because it say G-O-D. Thy throne, O G-O-D, is forever and ever. A scepter of righteousness is the scepter of thy kingdom. Thou hast loved righteousness and hated iniquity, which is wickedness. Therefore, God, even thy power. Is there, I ask you again, do the Most High have somebody over him? No. But it's calling him Mashiach Yahushai, God. Here, that they put here, which still goes back to what I showed you, Baal. So they real slick. I mean, that's why you understand the devil to see the whole world. So when we coming into the knowledge of understanding of, yeah, they did tamper with it. They put it in there, and that's what y'all saying. And now you realize you saying it. Like perfect example, they took Satan and we removed the letters of Satan and moved them over, and you come up with Santa. Santa instead of Satan. Move the letters a little bit over, switch them around a little bit. You got to say Satan calls. That's what they do. That's what they've been doing. It's just a matter of how do you realize and understand the deception of the devil in his operations. So say, but unto the Son, that's a Mashiach Yahushua, he said, thy throne, that powerful authority, O power, is forever and ever and ever. A scepter of righteousness is the scepter of thy kingdom. Thou hast loved righteousness. That's the laws of the Most High. That's why you're coming back to rule with a rod of iron, which is the righteousness of the Most High, which is the laws, statutes, commandments that the Most High gave us. He wrote with his finger the work of the Most High that y'all denying. That was love righteousness and hated iniquity. Therefore, power, even thy power, even your power. Therefore, Mashiach Yahushua, even your power, have anointed thee with the oil of gladness above thy fellows, above the angels. You see? Because look at verse 5, he say, for unto which of the angels, asking the question, I want you to answer this, because a lot of y'all talk about angels came down and had sex with the daughters of men, which are I call them the sons of the Most High. Prove it. Answer this question in verse 5. For unto which of the angels said he at any time, name them, thou art my son. Since y'all say the sons of the Most High, you're going to Genesis 6th chapter, that would be the sons of the Most High, right? So which angel? He said, for unto which of the angels, out of all the angels, said he at any time, thou art my son. This day have I begotten thee, and again I will be to him a father. For him to be the son of the Most High, he have to be his father. And he shall be to me a son. Name him. You ain't gonna find none. But y'all go to the book of Enoch and say that they came down and had sex with women and so forth. Ain't no woman ever said they had sex with an angel. All the years I've been living, I ain't never heard that. And I asked him. I said, nope, never happened. Because we the sons of the Most High. I mean, it's sad because, you know, we look at, what's that, Exodus 4:22? I believe it is. I haven't been there in a while, but I mean, and thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus said the Most High, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. So we the sons of the Most High. Even in the believe on Bahashem Mashiach Yahushua, or Yahweh Bahashem Mashiach Yahushua, or Most High Bahashem Mashiach Yahushua, however you want to look at it, or the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob Bahashem Mashiach Yahushua. You know, so this is what we're looking at. Go to Matthew 23 and 12. Salakia, I'll be on the road sometime, but back to the subject at hand. Matthew 23 and 12. And whosoever shall exalt himself, you want to be all that when you're nothing, shall be abased. You're going to be brought down. You're going to be brought down, y'all. Whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased. I done showed you what. I showed you Ezra. I showed you what's marvelous in the eyes of the Most High. Those that's been listening. Because everybody don't have ears to hear. Everybody don't have eyes to see. I showed you what's marvelous in the eyes of the Most High. That we don't conclude ourselves as one of the righteous. That's humility. That's why I keep asking. I'm not saying that because I know I can't put myself there. It said the righteous scarcely going to be saved. Scarcely. It say, dare not make thyself one of the number. But y'all are exalting yourself, want to be somebody. You say, we're in a condition called hell, but you want to be somebody in hell. And think the Most High is going to exalt you. That's why this is what my Shai said. And whosoever shall exalt himself, shall be abased. You're going to be brought down. And he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. You thinking about humility? Because what's the opposite of humility? Pride. And he said the city's going to be troubled because of pride. And a lot of you, I just went over about the pastors. How he going to get them? He going to deal with them because of their pride. And having the people be very prideful and having the Bible, they can't even drop nothing, especially from these religions, these different religions. Having the Bible say, talk to me. As we talking right now, according to the word of the Most High, they can't do it because they haven't been taught. They haven't been called to bring forth this truth in these last days. So you better humble yourself. And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased. I mean, you're going to be brought down low. And he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. You see? I mean, even on Mashiach Yahushua, he said, when they came to get him, they said, whom do you seek? He said, Mashiach Yahushua of Nazareth. He said, I am he. And all of them fell down on the ground. Soldier, all the mighty men fell out on the ground when they came to get him. Now, you know, he didn't want them to take him, he didn't have to allow them to take him. He had that kind of power. He went out to a ship and spoke to people on the shoreline. So he had a voice of many waters. Look how he was. Philippians, the 2nd chapter. And verse 5. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Mashiach Yahushua, since we Mashiached him, who being in the form of the Most High thought it not robbery to be equal with the Most High. Right? Meaning he was the son of the Most High, we just read, without shadow of a doubt. But made himself of no reputation. See, he wasn't trying to be somebody in hell. The Roman Empire was hell for us. I mean, you think about it. Look what he said. Some of y'all don't believe it, so let's go to Matthew 11. Let's prove it. I don't like to say something, can't prove it. Let's go to the time he was on the earth. Matthew 11:11. Look what he said. Verily I said to you, among them that are born of women, there have not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding, he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. Greater than John the Baptist, right? And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the time he's speaking, when he was on the earth in the flesh, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence. You hear that? The kingdom of heaven, that's us. We the kingdom of heaven. The 12 tribes of Israel. He said suffereth violence. And what? And the violent people, who are the Romans, and all those joined with them, take it by force. See?